Hello, I am a victim of directed energy weapons, and that means digital signals are being transmitted into implants inside of my body and brain from a network of unknown remote locations by anonymous cowards. And it's been going on for nearly 21 years. And I often make videos and posts outlining what's been happening to me recently so as to warn others that this is now a capability and it may happen to you. And so I have it written out in advance so as not to delay you. Why are the police aiding and abetting psychiatrists in miscategorizing voice hearing as a mental disorder when it is instead a crime? Many scientific patent numbers exist to support the fact that voice hearing can be electronically induced from a distance by means of signals being transmitted into injectable technology, which is now inside almost all of our brains and bodies. Have a single drop of your own blood analyzed under an electron microscope or under Raman spectroscopy, and you will find that it contains square-shaped and rectangle-shaped technology which should not be there and which is small enough to be injected into us by means of all types of injections. I receive voice transmissions, visual transmissions, tactile sensations, and forced muscle movement on a continual basis throughout each day and night. And these transmissions are transmitted into my body and brain from a network of unknown remote locations, and I find it difficult to get adequate sleep. Here are some of the voice transmissions which have been transmitted into my head recently as follows. Some of them are quite shocking. Monitoring her when nothing comes of it is a waste of my time. I will suicide her. And then another voice, because they talk among themselves. Those who speak to me talk among themselves, and I am forced to listen to their conversations. Who said they will suicide gratify? That's my name. I did. I can't make any money out of her. She has no money, she has no resources, and she has no vehicle. I don't want to be here. On another occasion, a voice said, "She is in a state of extreme distress. Is there anything I can do about it?" Another voice responded as follows, such as, and the first voice then said, "I wish to make it much worse so that I can get psychiatry involved." Tactile sensations were transmitted into the area of my bladder, which was done to deliberately stimulate the impulse to urinate. And then I heard a voice say the following, "Look what I can do." Another voice then said, "You can make women feel like urinating. If that is all you can do, we are not impressed with that." They can send signals into any part of my brain and body. And in order to stimulate nanotechnology that's in that part of my brain and body, in order to cause me to feel sensations, pain, electric shock, and forced muscle movement and immobilization of muscles. But it's not something that I have experienced much of so far, the immobilization of muscles, but I experience the forced muscle movement all the time. Another voice said on another occasion, "What is she doing in bed during daylight hours?" On another occasion, a voice said, "We are considered criminals until we get a conviction for something." Considering Gratify is a goodwill and good living woman and always has been so, what are you trying to get a conviction for? Another voice said later, "We would prefer her to be electrocuted than continuing to live." And then another one said, "She is going to sleep." And then another one answered, "She is not going to sleep. I need her awake so they can decide how often I sleep and when I sleep. So I'm partially enslaved by that means. She is in the house on her own. We could kill her now. She is celibate." Another one said, "We don't allow celibacy." Can you generate interference on Greta Fahy, please? That was a conversation that I overheard when they were speaking among themselves. And one of them said, I am just warning you not to spend too much money. This was said directly to me. Most of what I hear is said about me among a group of both men and women. Some of them claim not to know anything about me, and they then ask a core group questions about me, such as who I am and why I am wearing shungite stones, which help to block some of their efforts to attack me. I wear shungite jewelry. It's very helpful in blocking their attacks because they complain about it a lot. Another voice said on another occasion, I would have you walking on all fours if I wanted, because they're attempting to remote control human beings, because the technology that's injected into us can form a network inside our bodies in some instances, and we can then be biorobotized to act against our wills. Another voice said, I read on my screen what Greta Fahy hears through the voice-to-skull system, and by that means I can know what Annie and all of my colleagues are saying to her. No one has any legal rights at all anymore. We can now take who and what we want whenever we want, and no one ever puts a stop to us, because they're afraid of being targeted by means of directed energy weapons and voice to skull. Because they were saying they're always threatening to take me out of my home. And one of them asked another one, have we a right to take Greta Fahy out of her home because she was born in that house and it's her family home? Multi-generations of my family have lived in it. It's an old cottage. And they said, yes, we do what we like now. It doesn't matter what the law says. One of those would-be enslavers who transmit digital signals into my brain and body asked one of their colleagues to analyze my left hand, and he claimed that it was not clean. I was then made to feel strong pulses of energy going through my left hand for approximately 20 seconds. My left hand was found to be clean by the individual who analyzed it, but then I heard the following message. I got a false positive when I analyzed her left hand. So that's just some of what they've been saying to me recently. Now I'm just saying something to the police, because I don't know what they know, and I don't know how much they know. Okay, so I'm just saying this. To the police throughout the world, warn the public that they can be attacked by invisible energy signals into their brains and bodies, even while they are in the supposed safety of their own homes and alone. And these invisible energy signals can be used to cause them to hear voices, see visions, feel tactile sensations all over their bodies, and experience forced muscle movement, pain, electric shock, and microwave burns on their skin. And also sleep deprivation, among a number of other experiences. I personally believe, but I cannot prove, that near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences are all being caused by similar neuroweapons or directed energy weapons. And I know that to be the case because they can send signals into some of my senses, such as visions and sensations on my skin and hearing. And if they sent all of them together at the same time, they could lock me into a virtual reality hold. They could lock me into a virtual reality hold, and I wouldn't be able to get out of it until they released me. And people who experience virtual reality do have to wear a certain technology on their heads normally, but we now have electrodes in our brains, inside our brains, nano electrodes inside our brains. So we can be forcibly sent virtual reality experiences against our wills. And that explains near-death experiences. And out-of-body experiences can also be explained similarly, because you can create an avatar and you can put technology in it and you can transmit your own senses into it. And you can leave your body by that means. Because I haven't experienced anything like that, but a lot of other targeted individuals have reported it. These invisible energy signals, which are being transmitted to our brains and bodies, can be used to limit the ability of large groups of men and women to think clearly and logically. This can be done to senior politicians, lawyers, and the judiciary, among others. If people come out of denial about the true capabilities of directed energy weapons and come to terms with the fact that they are in widespread use, then we can have a public discussion about how best to protect ourselves from them. Please issue a public warning about this problem today. There are millions of self-confessed victims of directed energy weapons attacks throughout the world who are all telling the public similar stories online, and yet whenever we visit a police station to inform the police that this is the case, we are barely listened to by the police, who are entirely uninformed of the current capabilities of directed energy weapons. Then steps are immediately taken to have us attend for psychiatric evaluation. And then in most cases, we are forcibly detained inside psychiatric hospitals, where uninformed psychiatrists falsely assume that we are suffering from mental disorders. We are then forced to ingest drugs with extremely poisonous side effects, which torture us from the inside out. This is why most of us are afraid to go public with information about what is happening to us. If you and your colleagues remain in denial, you will soon be enslaved by means of directed energy weapons signals. My name is Greta Fahey. I live at Newbrook, Claremorris, County Mayo, in the Republic of Ireland. And I'm giving my name and address because a directed energy weapons crime is being committed against me. And I know lots of other people throughout Ireland that are also being tortured inside their own homes by means of directed energy weapons. And we are not being believed by a lot of people because they seem to be under some kind of hypnosis, which is also induced into their brains by means of directed energy weapons. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.